Welcome back to FryMinis. I'm Eric, and today in our Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen coverage, we are talking about magic items and equipment and gnomish siege vehicles. It's an interesting section. So, a little side note, I had planned to do a spells video. I had hoped that there were going to be some spells in here. And with all this like war type of stuff, I thought it might be cool to have like summon gangrene or I don't know. But no spells, no new spells in this book. You know, okay. But either way, again, thank you to Wizards of the Coast for sending this book over, the whole deluxe edition. Check out the playlist. We've done the lunar sorcerer, the kender. We did an unboxing and we still have a bunch more to go. Okay, so items. There's not a lot here. We've got no new potions or scrolls or anything like that. No new trinkets, at least that I found, or in this section, right? So we've got some new like adventuring gear, which is pretty specific, but you can use it anywhere. We've got a new weapon, like a whole new kind of a weapon. And if you know Dragonlance, you know what I'm talking about. And it's not the Dragonlance. We've got new like siege vehicles, and that's pretty cool. And then we've got a couple of magic items. One of them, I think, I still haven't read the whole adventure. You know, it's pretty big. But I think it may be sort of a spoiler a little bit. When we get to that one, I'll give you a warning. Yeah, so that's my little ramble. Let's take a look at Dragonlance items. Far-gab. These backpack-sized devices are created in pairs with matching numbers engraved on them and allow communication over a long distance using radio frequencies. While wearing a Far-gab, you can use an action to speak into the device's mouthpiece and send a short message of 25 words or less to another creature wearing the matched Far-gab while it is within 18 miles of you. The message emits from the speakers of the device and can be heard up to 10 feet away from the device. If no creature is wearing the Far-gab, the speakers make static noise instead. That's cool. I mean, it's like sending, right? A little bit. I like it. One thing that's I want to note here, no price. Usually equipment has a price, right? Like how much gold it costs. But none of the equipment or anything here has a price. So I wonder what that's about. Maybe it's in the actual adventure, which okay. I don't know. Just put all your stuff in one spot. I don't think that's hard. Hoopak, martial melee weapon. Cost 1 gold piece, damage 1d6 piercing melee or 1d4 bludgeoning ranged. Weight 2 pounds, properties ammunition, range 40, 160, finesse, special, two-handed. A hoopak is a sturdy stick with a sling at one end and a pointed tip at the other. Special, when you make a melee attack with this weapon, you ignore its ammunition property. You can use the hoopak as a martial ranged weapon. If you do, it uses the ammunition property, uses sling bullets, and deals 1d4 bludgeoning on a hit. Well, there you go, everybody. You've got your finesse two-handed weapon, melee weapon. Everybody always wants it. It's just 1d6. And it's martial. I'm a little surprised it's martial, but I don't know. So as I understand it, and let me know in the comments if I'm wrong here, but I think this is kind of like a kender thing, like they're known for. A lot of the art in the book has kender using these. So I think there's an association there, but that's cool. I am always excited to see more variety in weapons. That's one thing I've often felt a little disappointment in D&D overall, are how flat, I guess, so many of the weapons are. Nary Crash. This backpack-sized device holds a balloon-based parachute. If you fall while holding this device, you can use your reaction to deploy the parachute. Once deployed, the parachute rapidly inflates and you descend 60 feet per round and take no damage from falling. When you are 10 feet away from the ground, roll a d20. If you roll a 5 or less, the parachute gives out and you begin to fall normally. I mean, that's pretty cool. I like it. But something like this is a little risky, right? So again, no price on this. Oh, you know what though? The Hoopak did have a price, 1 gold. So okay, one item, one item has a price, but the adventuring gear, no prices. If you let this backpack thing into your game, and it's not like prohibitively expensive or hard to find, like why wouldn't you always have one on? Like your character should always have one, because we don't have like slots in D&D, right? And a lot of times it's like, well, you already have like your backpack on, so like why you can't wear 3 cloaks kind of thing, you know? But maybe you do at your table, I don't know. But if you have this thing on, do you still have a backpack on? Should that limit your storage capacity? I don't know. That's where D&D gets a little funky. And like this item, like it's cool, but if this is available, I'm always gonna have one on. I don't know, unless I'm a monk, I guess. Okay, we got some gnomish siege weapons designed by Tinker Gnomes. And this first one, I don't know if it's Boiler Drac or Boiler Drake. I'm gonna say Boiler Drake, but I might not be right. Boiler Drake, large object, armor class 15, hit points 100, damage immunity, poison, and psychic. This wagon-sized device is designed to look roughly like a dragon. Before it can be used, the Boiler Drake must be lit and aimed. It takes 1 action to light the weapon, 1 action to aim it, and 1 action to fire it. When you use your action to fire it, roll a d20. If you roll a 2 or higher, use the flames action. If you roll a 1, use the explosion action. Flames. The Boiler Drake expels flames in a 60-foot cone. Each creature in the area must make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw or take 27 5d10 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. Explosion. The Boiler Drake explodes in a 30-foot radius sphere and is destroyed. Each creature in that area must make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw, taking 27 5d10 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. I mean, that's pretty cool. And the art looks really neat. The more I learn about Dragonlance, the more I like Dragonlance. I think this is pretty cool stuff. But yeah, having like a big flamethrower dragon thing that takes a couple people to use, really, really cool. And I think it makes sense with like all the war type of stuff in here to have these siege vehicles. Gnome Flinger, large object, armor class 15, hit points 100, damage immunities, poison, and psychic. The Gnome Flinger is a catapult designed to hurl creatures instead of projectiles in a high arc. The Gnome Flinger was designed in conjunction with the Nary Crash, see the adventuring gear section, to hasten transportation. The device can hold 1 medium or smaller creature. Before it can be used, the Gnome Flinger must be loaded and aimed. It takes 1 action to load the Gnome Flinger, 1 action to aim it, and 1 action to fire it. While taking an action to aim the Gnome Flinger, you set the maximum horizontal distance of the fling personnel action to 60 feet, 150 feet, or 300 feet. Fling personnel. The Gnome Flinger catapults a medium or smaller creature to at least 60 feet away horizontally with a maximum horizontal distance of 60, 150, or 300 feet, depending on the option chosen when the catapult was aimed. During this trajectory, the creature always reaches a height of 60 feet vertically. A creature that collides with another creature or an object during this trajectory takes 1d6 bludgeoning damage for every 10 feet away from the Gnome Flinger it is. Yeah, that's cool. Catapulting people over castle walls or whatever. It's a lot of fun. I think you could have a lot of hijinks, and I would love to use these mechanics in other campaigns. Like you don't have to restrict either of the siege weapons to Dragonlance, but the Gnome Flinger in particular, like put one of these on an ogre's back for goblins to use, and maybe drop the distance from to like 30, 90, and 150 or something. I don't know, but I think that could be a lot of fun. Oh, that could be so much fun. Dragonlance, weapon, lance or pike, legendary, requires attunement. A Dragonlance is a renowned weapon forged from rare metal with the aid of powerful artifacts. On Krynn, its creation is associated with the god Paladin? Eric doesn't know. and legendary heroes who fought against the evil of the Dragon Queen. Different lances are forged for use by foot soldiers as pikes and riders as lances, but the magical properties of the weapons are the same. You gain +3 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magic weapon. When you hit a dragon with this weapon, the dragon takes an extra 3d6 force damage, and any dragon of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you can immediately use this reaction to make a melee attack. So, this is the Dragonlance, the most important kind of item, right? Like, I mean, the setting's literally named after it. I think it's a little underwhelming. Now, a +3 weapon, you know, of course, that's going to be good, but that's not fun. You know, I'm glad it's there, but who cares, right? +3. It's flat. 3d6 damage, only when you're hitting a dragon. Pretty specific. I know this is Dragonlance, and we'll probably fight some dragons, and you'll probably get this weapon at the end or something. I don't know. Okay, that's cool. And yeah, other dragons being able to make extra attacks, sure, that can be great. But it is so, so specific for when that's going to work. And it requires attunement. I think I would be a lot happier with this if these, because there are a bunch of these weapons, right? It's not just like one item. There are multiple dragon lances and pikes. If these had some of those like minor characteristics from the DMG, where like the one that lets you learn a different language or glows when it's near giants or whatever, stuff like that. I think where you can roll, I think to give each of them a little personality, I think would go a long way for me. So if I'm ever running a Dragonlance campaign and you get a Dragonlance, we're going to give it a couple of those little minor attributes. And I recommend you do the same. Okay, so this next one is potentially a story spoiler. I haven't read the story, but this is an item that is clearly not something a player is normally going to get. Like this, you're never going to throw this in a random loot pool type of deal, especially outside of this campaign. So potential spoiler warnings. I doubt that it's a major spoiler, but again, I don't know. So there's your spoiler. And if you want, just like click through and you can see when the screen changes to the next screen with the words on it. And that's when you know we'll be on the next one. So here we go. Flying Citadel Helm. Wondrous item, very rare, requires attunement by a spellcaster. The function of this ornate chair is to propel and maneuver a flying citadel on which it has been installed. The chair has AC 15, 18 hit points, and immunity to poison and psychic damage. It is destroyed if reduced to 0 hit points. The sensation of being attuned to a flying citadel helm is akin to the pins and needles effect one experiences after one's arms or legs falls asleep, but not as intense. While attuned to a flying citadel helm and sitting on it, you gain the following abilities for as long as you maintain concentration, as if concentrating on a spell. You can use the flying citadel helm to move the citadel through the air, up to 80 feet per round or up to 8 miles per hour. You can steer the citadel, albeit in a somewhat clumsy fashion, in much the way that a rudder or oars can be used to maneuver a seafaring ship. At any time, you can see and hear from the highest point outside the citadel as though you were at that location. If no creature attuned to the helm is maintaining concentration, the citadel remains motionless in its space. Transfer attunement. You can use an action or a bonus action to touch a willing spellcaster, whereupon that creature attunes to the flying citadel helm immediately, and your attunement to the flying citadel helm ends. Crash. Should the flying citadel helm be destroyed, the citadel it is installed on loses power and begins to crumble. If the crumbling citadel is in the air, it descends at a rate of 30 feet per round or 300 feet per minute. Any creature on the citadel or on the ground within 120 feet of the citadel when it lands must make a DC 20 dexterity saving throw, taking 39 6d12 bludgeoning damage on a failed save or half as much damage on a successful one. Okay, so you get a flying castle or can interact with one or something. And this is the kind of like the Spelljammer Helm. This is how you control it with some pretty basic controls. And not a lot of perks other than having a flying castle, I guess. So I guess I don't really have much to say about that one. Spoilers over. Come back. Kagonesti Forest Shroud. Wondrous item. Rare. Requires attunement. This cloak appears to be made of autumnal leaves woven together. While you wear this cloak, you have advantage on dexterity stealth checks, and you can use a bonus action to magically teleport along with any equipment you are wearing or carrying to an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of yourself. You then have advantage on the next attack roll you make before the end of the turn. Once this bonus action is used, it can't be used again until the next dawn. So this item, I like this one a lot. So advantage on stealth is always going to be good. You can have a plus 20 to stealth, and this is going to be great. You can have disadvantage and minus 5 to your stealth, and this is going to be great. Like it's excellent. And then getting a teleport, and then getting advantage on an attack. I think this is really neat. This is a great example of an item, I think. It also, like, it builds an image in my head of these elves that they all have this and they're all like poof, 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 popping around. You can't find them. Kind of like Nightcrawler, but with more swords. I know he has a sword, but even more swords. And it's cool. I like it a lot. Also, this next one might be like a story item. This one's kind of weird. This probably wouldn't go into like a magic item roll table type of deal. I don't know if this is a spoiler. I don't think so, but FYI, if you want to play it really safe, skip to the end till I wave my hands again or something. I don't know. Or go watch another video. Go paint a Banderhob. Okay, here we go. Mirror of Reflected Pasts. Wondrous item, very rare, requires attunement. This mirror of elven design allows those who stare into it to reflect on positive memories. The 3-foot tall mirror weighs 25 pounds, and it has an AC 11, 10 hit points, and vulnerability to bludgeoning damage. It shatters and is destroyed if reduced to 0 hit points. While holding the mirror upright, you can use an action to speak its command word and activate it. While activated, the mirror hovers in the air and it can be destroyed but not moved. It remains activated until you use an action to speak the command word again, or your attunement to the mirror ends, at which point the mirror harmlessly floats to the ground. Once the mirror has been deactivated, it can't be activated again until the next dawn. If a non-construct creature other than you sees its reflection in the activated mirror while within 30 feet of you, that creature must succeed on a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw or become paralyzed until the mirror is deactivated, or until that creature can no longer see the mirror. A creature paralyzed by the mirror can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on a success. If a creature's saving throw is successful, or the effect ends for it, the creature is immune to the mirror's effect for the next 24 hours. While paralyzed by the mirror, the creature sees events from their past reflected in the mirror's glass. These memories aren't real, but rather idealized versions of these occurrences. Nearby observers can glimpse flashes of these memories if looking indirectly at the mirror. So it's kind of weird, I think. Unless I'm misunderstanding it, which is very likely. Let me know in the comments if I am. It doesn't actually do anything for you. Its main purpose here is to paralyze people around you, which is cool because paralyze is a fantastic condition. It's just a strange item. I don't hate it or anything. It's just a weird one to me. So, yeah, I don't think it's a story spoiler, but whatever. I'm not sure how I feel about that one. All right. If that was a spoiler, that spoiler's over. Come on back. I don't know. Okay. So items, not many. A lot of them are kind of weird, very robust items. I don't know. I love the lunar sorcerer. I like the kender. I really like the forest shroud, the teleporter thing. I think that's really neat. But this is not my favorite section, I guess I'll say. I wish we had so many more magic items. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. How do you feel about the items in this video? This one's a little strange. Okay, thank you. Stay tuned. More coming. Hand waving.